Hello, everyone. This is Brian Franz from Lincoln Park Middle School. I, like so many of you, are going to be teaching classes in small group instruction online. And when I do that, I'm going to be using Google Meet, which is the app that our Google Education Suite has. So that's what we have to get used to. This video covers what are called Google Meet extensions. And I have found about 4 of them that I would recommend to anyone who is going to be meeting with their groups remotely. Let's take a look at what I'm talking about first. So what are extensions? I mean, Google Meet is great, but it is missing some features for teachers, in my opinion. So extensions are basically add-ons that add features back to Meet. I can't say back to Meet because they were never there, but it adds features that you need, and you will always find your extensions in the upper right-hand corner. Here, I'm actually going to move to my real screen up here. And up above Staff News, I have a series of extensions that I have added. Some of them are for you, and some are for students. So we'll see which ones as I go, and I'll tell you. I'm going to give you 3 useful ones for now, although you know what? I think I might have had a 4th one as well. So why don't we take a look at what I have? You know what? How do I add an extension? How do I actually add one? Well, first you're going to Google for the name of the extension using your Google search. I'll give you exactly what to type into Google. You're going to click on the link to go to the Chrome store. It's called a store, but all the extensions are free, at least the ones that I'm showing you. And you're going to click on a blue button that's going to look like this called Add to Chrome. And then that's it. It'll be there. It'll be there when you need it. Let's take a look at the ones that I have found so far for Google Meet. 1. Meet Attendance. Yes, this exists. Meet Attendance will take attendance for you. Well, it won't put it into MyStar, so it won't actually do the attendance for the school. I know that would be lovely, but it doesn't do that. But it does. As students come in and when they leave, it checks them sort of in and out of your class. It will tell you how long students were there. If your first period group meets at 7:40 to 8:05, something like that, you will in the end see that Jimmy and Susie and Billy joined at 7:40. Maybe Susie joined at 7:42 and when they left. It will also show you how long they stayed in the Google Meet classroom with you. It will make a spreadsheet. It's going to look like this. I ran a meeting earlier today with myself. That sounds so lonely. It says the participants that joined were me. I joined at 11:16 a.m. I left at 11:19 a.m., so I was only there for 2.5 minutes. And duration right now is coming up very weird for me, and I don't know how to fix that, but eventually that'll say 2.5 because I was there for 2.5 minutes. It'll give you sort of a whole number that you can look at. Yours will generate a list of 8 to 10 for your small groups over here of their names, and it'll tell you when they joined and when they left and how long they were there. Okay? I am going to require my students to have their actual first and last name be their name in Google Meet, because I think if they give themselves a nickname, you'll see nicknames on your attendance list. It's a little bit frustrating. You still have to do MyStar. You still have to do everything else, but at least you'll have a sort of like list of who showed up to your meeting, how long they were there. To search for this, type Meet Attendance Extension into Google. Click Add to Chrome. Next. Google Meet Grid View. So you can only see 16 students. Actually, I think it's 15. You plus 15 students at a time. That is not an issue if you're reading in your groups. You'll have 8 to 10 students. I don't know what the number is, but you'll have about that. A quarter of your students maybe for the period in there. And you'll see all of them. Whether they have their camera turned off and you can't see them, or you see their faces. Either way, that's not an issue. But if you do meet as a 32, 34, whatever group of students in your room, you can't see them all. Now, Grid View will let you see all your students at the same time. I really don't have a lot to show you for that. You type in Google Meet Grid View. There's one called Fix. You choose Add to Chrome. Mine says Remove because I already have it. And then you'll have a little grid that'll let you see all the students, I guess, and yourself, I think, in the room at the same time. Only you need this extension. The kids do not. The students do not. Same thing with the previous one. Only you need Meet Attendance. Your students, they don't need it. They'll never have a use for it. That's not true for the next one, though. Nod. This is an extension that requires both teacher and students to add it. I do not know right now if students will be able to add this extension. I believe at school we can get permission to add things, or extensions can be added. I don't know how that works remotely. It's super useful, so I'm going to show it to you just because I hope that we can use it. This requires, again, the kids and you, but only students with this extension can see it. It lets students thumbs up, say say wow, laugh, say well done, and there's a little bonus button that allows them just to raise their hand. So it's great. I think there's actually more than the picture shows. There's a few other logos, maybe thumbs down if they're not doing well or if they don't understand or things like that. It's useful because you don't necessarily want your students to interrupt your meeting, interrupt your small group, but you do want them to be able to tell you how they're feeling, basically. And when they do that, it just slides along the bottom of your screen. It'll say, Susan said thumbs up, or Jimmy said LOL. And it'll just tell you who they are and how they're feeling and what they're thinking. And you can also send little symbols out to them. Again, though, it requires both of us to have it. You will search Google Nod and click Add to Chrome. Okay, so I said there were going to be 3, but I actually have a 4th. So I was incorrect, but let's take a look. The 4th one, you will only truly understand this after you run your Google Meetings. Duelist. And yes, it is spelled like that. It means I don't have a dual screen. Duel-less. It lets you see yourself while you present to class. If you are meeting with your students and you want to show a Google slide presentation or a video where you are teaching while it plays, you're part of it. You're not just putting it up. You want to be part of class still. You want to be able to see yourself, and you know what? You want to be able to see the class while you present. Currently, when you present, it takes your whole screen up, basically, and it takes away the little pictures of the kids and the students and you. Here, I'll sort of show you. You will Google the phrase Duelist Chrome to get this one, and then click Add to Chrome. Let me show you what it looks like. It's a little weird, but I will show you. I'm not doing a Google Meet right now, but it makes more sense in Meet. I have added it up here to my little extension list. It's called Duelist. I'm going to click it. I'm going to choose 50-50. It's going to make both my screens the same size. When I click it, it splits. It looks really bad for my meeting right now, like the way I'm doing this video. It doesn't look great. On the right would be a screen that only I see. On the left would be the Google Meeting, so I can still keep an eye on what's going over there. You'll see yourself present, but you'll also still be able to see the grid of students and the grid and yourself, and just kind of really even the messages, the chat area, and make sure that I guess the class is still going okay, and that everybody, if they're sending you any of those nods, the little thumbs ups and the little confusions, you'll still be able to see class while you present. It's just like using your whiteboard at school, your Promethean board, and still being able to see the students. You definitely probably will need this. You'll want to see the students while you teach or while you present a video or whatever it is. Okay, last one. I'm going to save you the trouble. What's missing? There is no mute all button on Google Meet. There's no extension for it either. It'd be great to be able to push a button and have all of the students in the room muted at the same time. I think students you'll only be in the small groups most of the time, so they'll be able to mute themselves, but it would be nice sometimes to be able to mute everyone. Just with a quick little button, the students won't. It actually is easier for them if you can. You could say, okay, guys, say goodbye in 3 seconds. I'm going to teach a class. I'm going to teach a lesson. You got to mute you. And they would say bye, and you could push mute. It doesn't exist. You can mute the students manually, and they can mute themselves. There is no turn off all audio from students. That's what I call permanent mute. They are allowed to unmute themselves, and you cannot mute them. Or unmute them, excuse me. There's some privacy issues with turning on and off mute. You can turn the students off, but they can always turn themselves back on, and they can always refuse to come back on or something like that because privacy issues. It seems reasonable to me. That one's never coming, I think. There might be a mute all one day, but there is no controlling the whole room completely. There are no custom backgrounds. You can't do the beach background. You can't do the classroom background. You can't teach a social studies lesson on the Great Wall of China and put the Great Wall of China in the background. They don't have that. Maybe it'll come. But Zoom has that, but Google Meet doesn't. So maybe it'll come later. So, Meet attendance, Google Grid View, Nod, this one's huge. I hope we get this for every student, and Duelist, which is spelled that way, are the 4 that I have added to mine. And we will see what we develop and comes along as it goes. So that's the end of my video. I hope that you find at least some of that useful in your classes. Thank you so much.